Welcome to the Country Hipster podcast. My name is Paul. I'm the Country Hipster. To my left is my brother and co-host, Adam.
What's up, guys?
What's up? And then we have a very special guest here with us tonight in the Ottsville Record Garage. Well, we're kind of in the Ottsville Record Garage. So as you can see, things look a little bit different behind us here.
That guest is Ella.
That guest is Ella. Yes, this is Ella the Intern, or also known as Elevator. We did have Winnie Cooper on a few weeks ago, but Ella is not actually our special guest, although I'm sure she's going to pop in from time to time. But we have a very special guest of my 5-month-old daughter, Regina, who right now shall remain unseen. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe she'll get some camera time later. You okay with that? Just chilling right now? Oh, she's looking at me like, what are you doing, Dad? But unfortunately, Katie is no longer with us. I mean, she's in Pittsburgh.
No longer with us in this area code.
She is on a work trip. So we are doing the Country Hipster podcast from the living room of the Ottsville Record Garage. So as I mentioned before, Ottsville Record Garage is located literally in my garage, in my house. And since I am the sole responsible adult here.
I'm fucking responsible as shit. Dude.
Well, you're pretty responsible. But I mean, for Regina, you don't have to be responsible for Regina. And God knows that Jack is not going to do anything.
If anything happens, I'm using that kid as a human shield.
Yes, well, I understand. See, I would just hold her up and be like, look how cute she is. Don't kill me.
Nah.
So, Adam, what are you drinking there?
Drinking Lion's Head.
Lion's Head, there you go.
Local PA.
And as a responsible father and adult, I am drinking a AHA Blackberry and Lemonade sparkling water. So
with vodka.
There's no vodka in this. I do love this. So, like, one of the reasons I became diabetic is because I was addicted to soda. So I don't drink soda anymore because I am diabetic, but my diabetes is very much under control. But I do love these Ahas, man. They're way better than the boobly crap, and they're pretty damn good. And it kind of gives me my soda fix without getting actually drinking soda. But yes, so we are in the living room of the Ottsville Record Garage, and do you guys need some time alone? Yeah. Okay. So, since my wife is away, we have a little thing going on here. So, as mentioned before, Adam is a very gifted woodworker and handyman, and we have him do all sorts of stuff. So, we have two things one thing specifically that Katie has been asking Adam to do since we moved in here, and that's we have this space in our kitchen. The people we bought it from, as I've mentioned before, have done some really weird stuff here at the house. And this one was like how would you put it? Like the.
I was trying to describe it to somebody yesterday, and I couldn't even figure out. It's essentially just negative space above the cabinets, and they basically just kind of block it out with panels. So. A couple of the panels are broken out. It looks like me and Paul discovered today that it seems like the people who lived here before tried to do some
they were trying to do something fancy
stuff with it, but didn't do a good job. Yeah. So I'm going to try to fix it.
So he's going to try to fix it. We're also going to hang up the dartboard in the Ottsville Record Garage, which will be awesome because, I like darts. I like playing darts. I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy doing it. So,
what's your game?
I like what is it? Cricket. What is it? 20-0, yeah, or 20 to
15,
yeah,
15
yeah. I like that game. Yeah. I like the O1s, but I generally like cricket. But so at any rate, Katie's not here. Katie doesn't know that Adam came over early yesterday and will be here tomorrow to do this. So what?
You said it.
Today. Yeah, yes, I'm sorry. Came today. It's been a long day. So we are doing the Katie wager. We're going to see. I'm not telling. She doesn't know we're doing this. So I don't. I want to see how long it takes her to notice the two things that we do. So we have the kitchen and we have the dartboard. Right now, I'm setting over unders on these, and I want to see what Adam selects. So for the kitchen, we're giving her an over-under of 3 days. The over-under is set at 3 days that she'll take to notice. I think she will notice in less than 3 days. How long do you give her to notice the kitchen?
Oh man, am I allowed to pick under as well?
Oh yeah, you can pick under
Okay,
as well.
I don't know how gambling works, so I don't do it.
Oh no, we're not really betting anything real besides my child.
How many days did you say?
So I'm setting the over under. I'm setting the line at 3 days.
Yeah.
So I think she's actually going to do it. She's going to notice in 2 days. I honestly don't know that she's going to notice as soon as she comes home. Which that's the other thing we got to talk about. Is when does the day start? I guess when she gets back from her trip, that would be when the day starts. Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool. So I'll have to start the timing at that point.
I'll give it 3. I'll give it 3 days.
You're giving it 3 days?
Yeah, I'll give it dead on 3.
Oh, so you're just going even?
Oh okay. No! Oh no! I thought you. I'm confused now. Yeah, I'll give her 3. I'm not dead on. Just you say 2 days.
Well, do you say less than 3 days or more than 3 days?
Oh no, then I'll just go dead on 3.
Okay, so you're going even. You're saying a straight even. Stuff. Okay. All right, so I'm going with the under in 2 days. Adam is going even with the 3 days. Now, the dartboard, that's a little bit different. So she doesn't come into the garage a whole lot. Oh, you okay there, kid?
What is this, summer movie club?
Yeah, right. So she doesn't come into the garage a whole lot. She does every now and then. I believe she, on last week's episode, she brought us a cable while we were in the middle of filming because my computer was dying.
She brought us the charger cable.
She did, which was great. So I'm actually going to set the dartboard, the over-under, at 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's actually, I'm going with the over and saying it's actually going to take her 3 weeks.
I might actually go less than 2 weeks.
Okay, so you're going with the under.
Yeah.
So how long do you think?
I'll give it a week and a half. A little bit less than 2 weeks because you had talked to her about me and you putting the dartboard up. So that's already on her radar.
That is true, yes.
So I think she's going to see that in 3 days and then automatically go, oh, well, if he did that, he probably did. He may have done that as well.
I didn't think of that. That's actually pretty smart, but I didn't think of that. So it's possible. But I'm still going with the over.
Okay.
And I'm saying 3 weeks. It'll take her 3 weeks to notice the dartboard, which will be fun because then, we can hang out in the garage and play darts and stuff like that. And she'll be very happy about the kitchen thing. I think she'll be very happy about that. So that is what is going on here. We have Regina. We have the dogs. We're in the living room of the house that the Ottsville Record Garage is set in. And what are you up to? What have you been up to, man?
Nothing much. Been working. Mm-hmm. I got some boo-boos. Got a boo-boo on my palm there. Got a boo-boo on my knuckle there. I was very happy today because how long's my table saw been here?
Since January, the end of January?
Yeah, so my table saw has been living at Paul's house like my records. They're neighbors. They've been living here for a couple months now, and so we were trying to figure out logistics and materials, and I said, I should probably reassemble my table saw because that's kind of important to the projects we're going to be doing. Mm-hmm. So I got to put my table saw together, and it's when you start doing woodwork as like a way of like, I'm the type of person where like if I'm not doing something, I just start losing my mind. Like I don't like I got yelled at by my boss because I was talking about how I don't like to take vacation because if I'm not working, I feel like I'm just like
it's
going crazy.
That's dumb.
So
you should always take vacation.
That's why I started doing woodwork is because like when I wasn't working, I felt like I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
So I found something else to do with my hands.
Really? It took you woodworking to find something to do with your hands?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there was always some wood involved, but just a different kind of work.
Okay.
If you know what I mean?
Yes. Wood, silly putty.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
So when I've often said like kind of woodworking was kind of like my therapy. So it's very relieving to have had my table saw lying dormant for so long and then kick it on.
The lights popped on.
Ooh, the lights do look good.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No. So yeah, it was very nice to be able to plug my table saw in and turn it over for the first time in a while. So But that's really it. Yeah, working, getting boo-boos.
There you go.
And putting back together table saws. And I was very surprised because there was very, very minor adjustment to get my everything square and lined up and everything.
So we didn't break it when we moved it.
Correct. Yeah, we didn't break it when we moved it.
Good.
So I was really happy that everything went back so smoothly. Once I remembered where all the bolts went.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I actually haven't been up to a whole lot. We did, if you notice, I just said something about the lights popping on. We tore down our deck here right off of our living room. And that was recently completed just last week.
Oh,
and
that was a big yawn.
Yeah, I know. She's getting tired. We might be moving out to that deck too. So, but...
Fingers crossed, because I can smoke then.
Yes, exactly. So we just got the deck done. We finished. The deck was finished. I didn't finish it. I didn't do shit except like mess with the people who were working with it the whole time. But it's cool. It's got like, we went on the post. We put like lights on each post. And I don't know if you heard Regina there, but she was just saying how much she likes the deck, right, babe? Yeah, there she goes. And so they just popped on. We have them like on a timer and whatnot. So yeah, so it's pretty good. She's getting tired.
Yeah, she's like singing herself to sleep.
Yes, she is. So the plan is that we set up here in the living room because she was getting tired, but then it seemed like she was catching a wind, which I think she did, but I think she's losing that wind. So before we get into this too much, so my friend Tom will be thrilled because we're going to stop at like the 12-minute point of talking about other shit before we get into the album, because he always gives me shit about you guys talked for like 30 minutes about nothing and then you got into the album, and I'm like, yeah, that happens. So we're going to actually stop this real quick.
Does he know we're brothers?
Yeah.
Does he know that we have like a very good repertoire?
I just don't think he likes it. Yeah. It's
I mean, I get it. Like you're listening to like a music podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Regina.
I get it, like you're listening to a music podcast, but like I remember that's always like people have told me on Summer Movie Club. People have told me that their favorite part of the podcast is me and Zach's bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
Regina.
This is Regina here, and she is getting very sleepy and starting to get a little cranky. So I think that we're going to take a little break right now, and when we come back, we will be on the deck. So
it'll be a break for us. It'll be a millisecond for you guys.
It'll be a millisecond for you.
So,
all right, so we're gonna go do that real quick. I'm gonna go put her down, and and we will go from there. So stick around. Hey guys, it's the Country Hipster out on the deck at the Ottsville Record Garage. So this episode's a little disjointed. As you saw just a few minutes ago, we were in my living room. And then Miss Regina decided she needed to go to sleep. So we purposely did this.
do you want to start a punk band called Miss Regina?
No.
No?
No.
That sounds like a good punk band name,
No.
though. You don't think so?
No. Hate it.
No?
No. But anyway.
Maybe a punk band song.
Well, it's funny you mentioned bands and songs. Our theme music tonight was none other than the Unholy Four from Charlottesville, Virginia, and the song Dirty Knife. So I forgot to mention that earlier, so I'm mentioning it now. Also, since we are at the Ottsville Record Garage, we now have stickers for the Ottsville Record Garage. There you go. Bring it up to them.
Got that bad boy.
Yes.
Nice and close.
OttsvilleRecordGarage.com. If you buy something from Ottsville Record Garage,
so I'm going to steal this one?
Yes, steal that one. You will get a cool sticker. Our new stickers came in today, so you will get that. Or honestly, if you want an Ottsville Record Garage sticker or a Country Hipster podcast sticker, send me an email at info@OttsvilleRecordGarage.com and say, hey, I want a sticker. Obviously, I'll need your address too. So,
although Paul,
yes,
you are a professional musician and you play shows a lot. So,
I do.
What shows do you have coming up where you could hand out stickers to people in person?
I could even, if you came to one of my upcoming shows, I could give you one of these stickers.
I should be a band promoter.
You should be a band promoter. So, today is May the 25th. The Thursday of Memorial Day weekend, and my upcoming shows this weekend I have two. On Sunday the 28th, I will be playing at the Horse in Sellersville on the patio, at 4 p.m. They just started doing music on Sundays on the patio, and this is going to be the first time I will be performing on the patio on a Sunday. I am at the Horse every second Saturday of the month, but now I will be there every fourth Sunday as well, and that'll be the 28th of May. And then on the 29th of May, Memorial Day itself, a very special Monday show at 2 p.m., weather permitting. I will be playing at the Bucks County Brewing, which is about 10 minutes from my house, so I'm really excited about that. Oh, what did you find?
Bucks County Brewery.
Bucks County Brewery.
Currently closed, but they are 5.4 miles away from where we are.
There you go. So, so I'll be playing the Bucks County Brewery on Monday, Memorial Day from 2 to 5, weather permitting. They have food trucks. They have good beer. It's a lot of fun. And that's it. Now back to our... Oh, wait. Also, go check out Summer Movie Club.
Check it out. By the time you guys are listening to this, the Billy Madison episode will be out. I don't know what else we're going to be at. We're going to be recording an episode. Have you seen the movie Barbarian?
No.
Don't look into anything about the movie Barbarian. Just you guys at home, do not watch a trailer. Do not read anything about it. Just watch the movie Barbarian and just absorb it.
All right. So check out the Summer Movie Club, OttsvilleRecordGarage.com, and I hope to see you at a show sometime. Thank you very much, and back to our regularly scheduled podcast. And we're back. So, we made a little move there. We are now on the deck at the Ottsville Record Garage, right off of my living room here, where we just had the deck done. It's a beautiful night here in Ottsville.
The smoke gives it nice ambiance.
Yeah, it does. It is. It is a nice little ambiance there. Looks like our audio is good. Looks like it's picking everything up pretty good. So that's good. That is a good thing.
If you guys can hear me, nod yes.
Cool. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yes, we have Regina on the monitor. So I am not a deadbeat dad. The monitor is right here, so I could see her.
Real quick, I was telling Katie about this the last time I was here. When my first son was born, that motherfucker slept like a whirlwind. Like, he was all over the place. And we were never sure if he was, like, awake or if he was still asleep and just, like, tossing and turning, because we just had a regular baby monitor. Uh-huh. So when Henry was born, I was like, we're getting a fucking video baby monitor. I'm like, because if this one is anything like the last one, I want to see what this... I want eyes on this fucking kid to see what the hell he's doing.
Right.
Video baby monitor is, like, the greatest... It's, like... you sound like when you talk about, like, oh yeah, I can watch them, like, I don't have it, so I just want to see them breathe.
Yeah.
Because you can't. The video quality is not good enough. Like, sometimes you can.
Yeah.
But, like, it's more of just like do I have to actually get up and go in there and fucking settle some shit down, or is it good?
Yep. Well, she just turned all around. So the way I had her laying originally, she's turned around, so now her feet are facing the camera and not her head. But no, this thing is great. What's cool about this one, and again, you said, like, you had, like, the regular monitor, right?
Yeah.
And so you had what, like, 3 years between your second two kids?
Yeah.
So I had
4.
Okay, 4 years.
Yeah.
So I had fucking 20 years
Yeah.
between my third and fourth kid, and so there are things like now, I'm just like, wait, you could do what? And they have what? And
Yeah.
what's this? So
They have crazy shit now where, like, they have a sock that you can put on your kid that will monitor its pulse ox level.
Jesus Christ.
And if
fucking crazy.
something, like, drastic happens, it'll send a notification to your phone.
Wow.
So you could be, like, dead asleep in the middle of the night, kid could stop breathing, God forbid, and the pulse ox would detect it and send a notification to your phone and wake you up so you can go so you can go figure out what's going on.
Jesus Christ, that's like my fucking diabetes monitor.
Yeah.
That you put in earlier today.
I did. I got to do a medical procedure today.
There you go. Yes, you are now a doctor on top of everything.
I've been a doctor.
Yes.
Just not licensed, ladies.
Yeah, so no,
what's the joke? Is like, I'm not a gynecologist, but I'll take a look.
Yeah. I'm not a licensed gynecologist.
Yeah.
I do it as a hobby.
Yeah.
know. So, but no, we're out here. It's like, it's getting darker behind us. It's like you can still see a little bit of the hue of the sunset, but it's really nice out here. It's a beautiful.
Honestly,
night.
I really like the backdrop
Yeah.
of the trees. It looks nice.
Yeah, it does. It does. This is good. We're gonna have to do this again.
Yeah.
Maybe during the day too.
Yeah.
So we were talking about doing one by the fire pit as well, but I don't know that we're gonna be able to pull that off. That might be a little more difficult.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just thinking that it will be. I'm not sure why. I'm just thinking that it will be. But the reason we are here to talk about today is another episode of the Country Hipster podcast. And it is one of my picks. It is The Specials. The Specials. This is The Specials' debut album.
The glare isn't even that bad out
here.
here.
No, it's not. It's not. We really might have to do this more often. So let's talk first about the factoids. We always go through the factoids of the album. So here is what I can tell you about this album. This is the debut album of The Specials, which was released on October 19th, 1979. And what's funny, and because you see this a lot, most albums, they might record it a year before, like a while before. So this came out October 19th, 1979, but they recorded it during the summer of 1979. So it was a very short turnaround.
Oh, it was literally, okay. That's
between
cool.
when they recorded it and when it was actually released, which was pretty cool. I
think pretty much everything else that we've covered was like recorded the year before and then released the following year.
Yeah, this was literally like months in between. Technically the summer ends in end of September, so it could have been weeks from the time.
Yeah.
But so I like this album. This couple other factoids about it. This reached number 4 on the UK album charts for 79-80, so the year end. It reached number 5 on the New Zealand album charts and number 84 on the US Billboard 200, and that's for like the year of like 1980. It was certified gold in the UK, selling over 100,000 units. Q magazine in the UK has this ranked as 38 on the top 100 British albums ever.
Wow.
That was in 2000 they did that. Pitchfork, 42 of the top 100 albums of the 1970s. Pitchfork magazine and website. And Rolling Stone, now there's a little caveat with Rolling Stone. This album was released in 1979 in the UK. However, in the US, it was released in 1980.
All right.
So the Rolling Stone magazine has this ranked 68 of the top 100 albums of the 1980s.
68 of...
Number 68 of 100. Of the top...
Not far off from the top
68 of
half.
100 of the top albums of 1980. Yep. So I mean, it's a great album. Now, couple cool things. There's a guest vocalist on this album. It's Chrissie Hynde from the Pretenders. She does some vocals on Nightclub. And I didn't actually realize this. I have this album. This is from my collection. I own this album, and I never really look at the liner notes for whatever reason. If I like something, I just fucking like it. I don't necessarily buy records because of the liner notes. This album is produced by none other than Elvis Costello.
Is it?
It is.
No shit.
Produced by Elvis Costello, who is one of my favorite musicians, favorite singers,
favorite cameo in Austin Powers.
And like he really has produced a lot of like cool albums. He's produced a lot of his own albums, and specifically, but like for other bands, he has produced this album for the Specials. He produced the Special AKA album, which is Special AKA. Like I know the Specials themselves were only around for like maybe 3 years or so, and then they kind of broke up and went other ways. So there were kind of some original members and other members, and they put another album out. And the only album they ever put out under the Special AKA, which is basically the way I said, like, we're the Specials, but we're not the Specials.
It's kind of like now we're like what's his name? That guy who's not the original lead singer of Sublime sings for Sublime, so it's not Sublime anymore.
Right.
It's Sublime with Rome.
Right, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. So this was the Specials, AKA. He did one of my favorite Pogues albums he was the producer of, which is Rum Sodomy and the Lash. I did not realize that he did although I'm not surprised, because I think Elvis Costello is now touring with him, or has an upcoming tour with him. He produced a Nick Lowe album. He produced an album for Squeeze. Are you familiar with Squeeze?
No.
Cool band from the 80s. They do that like a couple hit songs, like probably the most recognizable would be Pulling Muscles from a Shell. Yeah, no?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's Squeeze. And Are we losing connection? We're losing connection. It should come back in a second. Sorry, baby monitor issues.
Let's wrap some tin foil around it.
I know, right? Something.
Do you have any wire hangers we could...
Oh, fuck. Okay. Yeah, we lost it. That's all right. I'll take care of that in a second. But he also produced an album for none other than Paul McCartney. He produced the album Flowers in the Dirt, which is considered Paul McCartney's like comeback album. Specifically, and you know, he does have like Elvis Costello is a very specific sound. We talked about this, like about specific styles, specific guitar sounds and stuff like that. I think Elvis Costello has a very specific like songwriting style and a producing style to an extent too. So the big hit off of Flowers in the Dirt was the song My Brave Face. And when I found out that Elvis Costello, produced this album, it made total sense. Could you just walk towards there, towards the bedroom, so it reconnects? And I'll talk for a minute.
Oh, it has to go. Okay.
Yeah, it has to go towards the bed because that's right. Don't lose shit.
My keys are I carry a tape measure.
Yes, because you're a hipster.
My keys got attached to the netting.
Yeah. So while you do that for me, I'm gonna keep talking about, My Brave Face very much sounds like an Elvis Costello song, and that album was produced by Elvis Costello, and it came from a bunch of songs that actually Elvis Costello and Paul McCartney decided to collaborate on. And they were just kind of like working on different things, and I think the intention was to put an album out together, which they ended up not doing. But Flowers in the Dirt got recorded, and also Elvis Costello recorded his solo album Spike, which has a heavy Paul McCartney influence on it. And one of the songs that, again, when I found out he was a co-writer, the song Veronica off of the album Spike was also co-written by Paul McCartney, which sounds, if you listen to the tunes and the bubbly and the bouncing vocal line of that album, it really does kind of sound like, thank you, it sounds like a Paul McCartney song. So that's really cool, and I thought that was cool to, again, I don't read liner notes, even though it's on the label and shit like that. I don't really buy albums for the liner notes.
If it's not on the dead wax, Paul doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about it. I will just, I'll just skip that. But no, it was cool to find out that Elvis Costello did produce this album. I am going to light up a backwoods. So, once again, what do you got there?
I say there's some glare. If you pitch down, you lose the glare. But we have some another PA local beers. We talked about, I can't remember what podcast we talked about it on, but we talked about Yards Brawler. And you talked about specifically preferring Brawler from a can than from a bottle.
Yes. So that's one of the reasons I got it. So again, being a responsible parent, this is not a blunt. It's not a blunt. It is a backwoods dark stout cigar. Okay, so that's what I'm smoking here.
It's not a blunt, but people would definitely buy them to gut them and make them into blunts.
Absolutely, they would, but if I'm going to do that, I want to just smoke it out of a pipe. See, that's too much work.
Can I ask you a personal drug-related question?
Go for it.
Do you enjoy smoking a blunt? Like, of the various forms of...
No, I really don't.
Forms of smoking weed, do you enjoy? Is a blunt your preferred method?
No, it's really not. I mean, ultimately, I prefer to just smoke a joint, but I'm really bad at rolling them. So I just usually smoke it out of a pipe or a bowl, or So yeah, so that's me. When I do that, I don't do it often.
No.
Although edibles are great. Now that like a lot of this shit's legal, it's not legal in Pennsylvania, so I don't do that while I'm living in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But edibles are great.
Only when you're in New Jersey.
Only when I'm in New Jersey or Washington State or Virginia or other states where it is.
I think Colorado was the first one, wasn't it?
Colorado
was like the forefather.
Yep. So back to the album. This album here.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just gonna constantly apologize to Tom now.
Well, it's funny because, like I said, he sent me. I guess so. This is the funny thing. Like, and I appreciate everybody who's subscribed and who's watching or listening to the podcast. But we do film this stuff and record this stuff a few weeks in advance before it's actually posted. Like this one's gonna post I wrote that down because I'm following that shit. This one is going to post, it's going to air on the 25th. So it's now May 25th. It is the Thursday before Memorial Day weekend. So happy Memorial Day weekend. Thank you to all who have served and given their lives so that people like Adam and I can sit here and talk shit about records. And
so I can ask Paul what's his preferred method of imbibing weed.
But yeah, so I have friends who will message me and they'll be like talking about whatever episode just posted. And I'll be like, you said da da da. I'll be like, wait, I said what? Like I don't.
That doesn't sound like me.
That was seriously 3 weeks ago, and I was drunk, and I haven't watched this again. And then Tom posted me. I think he just watched the Smiths episode and just sent me a text message 50 minutes before you actually started talking about the album.
It was in all fairness, though,
we had a special guest.
We had a special guest. It was a booze and vinyl, so we had to take some time for the special guest. We had to take some special time to make drinks. Mm-hmm. We had to properly review the book. So
exactly,
that's understandable.
Yes, but I just wrote, that happens sometimes. Because it is what it is. But I do appreciate it. I appreciate the feedback as well.
Yeah.
So, if you guys have any feedback for us, just drop it in the comments. Whether whatever you're listening to this on, whether you're watching it on YouTube or Spotify or iHeartRadio or whatever we're on, just drop us a message in the comments, man. We'll see it, and I definitely will appreciate your feedback and your banter. But that's what we're doing here. We're just talking about records. And
we keep it loose.
We keep it loose. So the Specials were not the band that introduced me to ska. The band that actually introduced me to ska was the Dancehall Crashers.
Okay.
It was a band from California, 2 lead singers, two female lead singers.
I know the name, but I don't think I've ever heard them.
I think they had, in the late 90s, they had an album come out called Lockjaw, which was like their commercial album, which was also I think that was their last album. I actually got to see the Dancehall Crashers twice. Once was at City Gardens in Trenton, New Jersey, which was an excellent place. The only show I ever saw at City Gardens was the Dancehall Crashers. And Jesus Christ Super Ska opened up. And
it's a solid fucking name.
Yeah, it is. And I want to say Mustard Plug, but I'm not 100% sure on who the other band was. But they were great. And then I saw them and met them at the Warp Tour in '96 as well.
Oh, nice. Which
was cool. But at that point, by the Warp Tour, they didn't have horns anymore, so it was it's not quite the same. But yeah, so that is the band that introduced me to ska. But I discovered the Specials very soon after, and absolutely love this album. And and in general, I love this album. It's a good album. This album to me feels a little more reggae, or I would say subdued ska.
Yeah,
but it's still, I think it's still great, and it's a staple in the genre. And as far as like bands that are still playing today, that I would kind of compare the most to the Specials is probably the Slackers, who I actually finally got to see at the This is Not Croydon Fest a couple weeks ago, where I got my Fishbone shirt that I'm wearing, and I saw Fishbone again, and that was
very nice.
My thing went out, which was a big ska fest. It was its 4th year, held at the Broken Goblet Brewery in Croydon, and that was a really good time. But one of the bad things about the Specials no longer being with us, besides the fact that they've broken up, their lead singer Terry Hall died in December of 2022. So that's for Terry Hall. Terry Hall, there you go. Rest in peace, Terry Hall. He died of cancer. Which is very unfortunate, because I had a chance to see the Specials, and I didn't go. I can't remember why I didn't go.
How recently did you?
It was fairly recently. It was
I say, if he passed away in 2022.
It was 2018, 2019, something like that. They were touring. I think it was most of the original members, if not all of the original members, and they were also playing at the TLA in Philly, which is a small place. And I don't remember the full circumstances as to why I didn't go. I don't know. I don't remember if I had a show, or if maybe funds weren't like that great for me. I don't remember. I just remember not going and regretting not being able to go. And now Terry's dead, and so now I will never get to see So, what are your initial thoughts about this album? Very curious about that.
Well, I wanted to go into kind of like my history with the album a little bit.
Okay.
Before I get into like my thoughts on it, so growing up, I knew a bunch of guys who were really into ska.
Okay.
Never really listened to it aside from like catching, what's the fucking aside from like the impression that I get by like Mighty Mighty Bosstones. Like that was my. That was my
probably other than the specials. Well, I mean, I'd say probably commercially, the Mighty Mighty Bosstones are probably the most commercially successful ska band.
So I always remember for a very long time. I always remember seeing the little
Rude Boy.
Never really knowing what the fuck it was. It was always like that. I remember these dudes always had T-shirts with the Rude Boy, as you referred to him as, and covers of like Operation Ivy albums.
Yeah. Which Operation Ivy eventually became Rancid.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was always like that was like the scene that they were like into. Never got into it, and I always like knew of them. Mm-hmm. And then a few years back, saw the movie Chef.
Okay.
Starring, I think, written, directed, and starring Jon Favreau, which is a good movie.
It is a good movie.
Yeah. And in it, there is a kind of, not salsa, but kind of like a different version of A Message to You, Rudy.
Okay.
On it. And I was looking for that version of it, and I came across the specials version. I came across the specials version of it, and really enjoyed the hell out of it. I have a big playlist on my phone that I used to listen to while I started the playlist because I was getting, it was what I would listen to while I was like getting a shower and getting ready for work. So the playlist is just called Ready. So A Message to You, Rudy by the Specials has been on my my Ready playlist for a couple years at this point. And then it wasn't until I was looking through Paul's 25 and I pulled out the Specials album and I was like, oh shit, side one, track one is fucking Message to You, Rudy. That's awesome. On the whole, I enjoy the album. I feel like there's no in between for ska.
There is not. I was going to ask you too. What are your feelings about ska?
I see. That's the thing. I think I might be the in between because like I'm not like there's people who fucking hate ska.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, there's people who hate ska, and then there's people who like they're still walking around in fucking suits and fedoras.
Yeah, black coat, white shoes, black hat,
Cadillac, and the boys a time bomb.
Exactly.
So like there's, but I feel like I might be the in between because like I enjoy this album. I enjoy pretty much I enjoy pretty much all like the ska that I've listened to. Mm-hmm. But like I don't know if ska is going to be my first choice to go to.
Yeah, so okay, I get that. So I love ska, you know what I mean? Like I and that's one of the things I've written here. I love like that the Specials introduced to me the rude boy culture. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you know, I love ska. I'm not a dancer, you know what I mean? Like even though I was a theater major, specifically a musical theater major, I'm not a dancer. And if, you know, if I'm at a wedding and, you know, a song comes on that I'll dance with my wife to, I'll dance with my wife. Yeah. Otherwise, if I'm dancing, I'm really drunk.
If you're at a wedding and turned down for what comes on, all bets are off.
Yeah, but, exactly. But, you know, so I'm not...
It's turned down for what? What are you supposed to do?
Right, yeah. So
not turned down for what? Assholes.
But at any rate, so I'm not really a dancer unless I'm really drunk.
Yeah.
But if I go to a ska show, I'm fucking dancing. I'm dancing the whole time because it's fucking fun. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and I've seen a lot of ska bands.
I remember there was a show that you, back when you were putting on shows, it was at some church, mm-hmm. and you were playing with Sean. Sean was playing drums and you were playing guitar, and you had this terrible fucking wig on. And I just remember you were like, it was a very like, not screamy, but like heavier type. So like
it's more like that was my old punk rock roots.
Yeah. So it was very like the dancing that was going on at that show was more of like a light mosh, if you will.
Yeah.
So I remember you with this terrible fucking like almost like a long Beatles bowl cut type wig on.
Yeah. Talking
like you're like, all right, we're gonna play something for you kids to dance to, and then you come in with this fucking like reggae type riff, and everyone's just kind of looking at you like, the fuck, man.
Yeah. Well, everybody the whole time we were playing, everybody's looking at us like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. That was a good thing. That was when I started playing guitar, I learned 3 chords and started writing punk songs with Sean, and and so at that point, I guess I'm almost. It's almost 30. I'm putting on shows. It's like an all ages show, and I was like fucking with the other bands, and I was like, yeah, man, there's gonna be this like old punk band coming on. They're called Murky Distraught. They're from fucking back in the day, man. I can't believe I got them. They're fucking amazing. To the point where I got Sean to write up and Photoshop a fucking like Rolling Stone magazine article, and like I posted it all over the place, and people were like, oh my god, and they're like reading it, they're like, holy shit, these guys are fucking, oh my god. So Sean sets up the drums. I'm running the show, and I know all the bands because I booked all the bands. Sean sets up on the drums, he's sitting on stage, and then I go and put on this fucking wig and just come walking out. I'm like, what's up, motherfuckers? And they're just like, what the hell is this? And we got up and we did, because I think what happened was like a band like canceled on me. I was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna get another band, we're just gonna get up and do this. So, excuse me. So that's pretty funny. But ska in general, I think I saw something that where somebody it was a meme or something like that, and I think it's really fucking accurate, where they describe ska as the sound that goes off in a 12-year-old boy's head when he gets an extra mozzarella stick with his order.
Yeah.
It was just like, I heard that, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's pretty fucking accurate.
You get an extra mozzarella stick, and all of a sudden,
and ska, it's funny. The person who I know who absolutely hates ska is a guy I used to work with in the movie industry, and it surprises me because he's also really into jazz, and he's a jazz drummer, and just the musicianship of ska is amazing. Like it's not easy to write those songs. It's certainly not fucking easy to play those songs in any beat, because you're on the upbeats and you're generally using like sustained chords and diminished chords and seventh chords and shit like that. And honestly, if it's not G, C, and D, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like you add these bands, and then when you add bands that have the horns as well, I mean, you're talking about like most of these musicians and the people starting these bands and playing these bands are like fucking college students who are in school for like jazz composition and shit like that, like stuff that I could never even like wrap my fucking head around. And they're putting out these songs, and and it's great, and you get so many different walks of life at a ska show. You will get skinheads, you will get rude boys, you will get old fucks like me, you'll get little punk kids. And the cool thing about like the ska shows and ska in general is it's all about like harmony and getting together and talking about issues and
which I mean it kind of comes back to like at the end of the day, the like ska is essentially reggae with horns is how I've always described it to people who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, like sped up reggae with horns. It's probably the dumbed down way to describe ska. Yeah.
So like it kind of understands like you can't be upset. Like, if you're upset listening to reggae, you're doing something wrong in life. Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing applies to ska. Like, you can't be upset with fucking, like you said, like, up-tempo, upstrokes, like, in a horn.
Positive lyrics, usually.
Yeah, a trombone and a trumpet. You can't be upset about that shit.
Yeah, and it's really, it really is. It's a lot of fun. That's why I like ska. That's why I like going to shows. That's why, I love the specials. I love this band, and they were around for a short period of time, and they put out like this album specifically is fucking great. It's a great album. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I love it, and there's so many like cool like bands that are still out there, and like, there's it's funny like how you said like we've talked about how there's like all these different types of like metal and shit like that. So ska is just ska, right? And you just call it ska, but like there are almost different genres of ska within it. Like you have like regular ska, you have reggae, and then you have like more like punk ska, which so like I would put like like Less Than Jake is like punk ska.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rancid is like punk ska. The Interrupters, who are a great fucking band, who I did get to see. They played at the Fillmore. It was actually mine and Katie's second date. Yeah, and Skinny Lister opened for them. I love Skinny Lister. They're not a ska band, but you know they opened for them. And there was another punk band who I don't remember what they were called, but they were also very good. But you know, and you know, that's like the punk ska, and then you have like the reggae ska, which I'd almost put like, or like I would say like subdued ska, where it's like I would kind of put the Specials, the Slackers, and then you have just like kind of like pure ska, which would be like you know, like the Dance Hall Crashers. There's a band from Philly that's out right now, and they're touring and they're doing a lot of stuff. They're called Catbite. Check out Catbite if you've never heard of them. They're like pure ska. Catch 22, like bands like that. And then you have your Satanistic ska in Mezoscopheles. They're seriously, they're great. They're like if you look them up, they're like a Satan worshiping ska band.
It's awesome.
And they're fucking amazing. And like they start off on their songs, they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6, and they go like the song. It's fucking great. So at last year's This Is Not Croydon Fest, I actually got to see Mezoscopheles for the first time, and I fucking loved that. I was like, and Katie was about 2 months pregnant at that point. And so like we got there early, and you know, she was like not feeling well, plus she wasn't able to drink or anything.
Yeah.
I was just like, listen, can we just see Mezoscopheles and then we can go? And she's like, yeah, no, that's totally fine. So we did that, and then we jetted. But like I was so happy to get to see them play and whatnot. And Fishbone is a band that I've seen 3 times now. And they're cool. But what's funny is I was talking about this at the show as well. My introduction to Fishbone was through Pee Wee Herman.
Explain.
So there is a Frankie and Annette movie called Back to the Beach.
Okay.
So it has, you know, Frankie and Annette, and Pee Wee Herman's also in that movie. So I guess it's not actually Pee Wee Herman, but he's in that movie too. Sorry, Pee Wee Herman has a cameo and does the bird. Aunt Becky from Full House, Laurie Laughlin, or however you say her name, Laughlin. Yeah. She's in it.
She's a criminal.
She criminal.
You don't have to pronounce her name properly.
Right. Laurie Felony is what we'll call her. So she's in it. But at any rate, there's a scene. What? You like that, Laurie Felony?
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like what someone's name in like a roller derby would be.
Yeah. So at any rate, they're on the beach, and Annette's talking about, when I was young and da-da-da, we would have fun, da-da-da. And next thing you know, this band starts playing, it's a song called Jamaica Ska. Well, it's fucking Fishbone.
Yeah.
Doing like ska, 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 Jamaica Ska. He's got the big fucking baritone horn. He's like, you know. So that's pretty cool. You know, and the first time I saw, is the other thing. The first time I saw Fishbone was at Lollapalooza '93, and two cool things about that. Well, I'll tell you the whole story. 2 cool things that happened about that particular day was, the first was when Primus was the headlining band. When they got up, the singer of Fishbone got up with his baritone horn and played "Sailing the Seas with Cheese" with them, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But another thing was, I'm sitting there with my friend. This is at like now the Wells Fargo Center is there, but it used to be JFK Stadium, but it was knocked down. So that's where they had Lollapalooza in '93. And I'm sitting there with my friend, and I see this dude walking by, and I was like, "Yo, is that the singer of Fishbone? Like walking like this far away from?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Nah, why would he be walking around in the crowd?" I'm like, yeah, good point. When Fishbone gets up, and he's like, "I was walking around in the crowd earlier." I'm like, "Motherfucker!"
I was walking around the crowd earlier, and some kid was like, "Hey, is that guy?" And his girlfriend was like, "No, it's not." And I was like, incognito.
I'm like, "God damn it!" And so fast forward to the second time I saw Fishbone, which was at the Warped Tour in '96, where I had like backstage passes and whatnot. It's where I met the Dance Hall Crashers, I met Fishbone, I met. Unfortunately, met Blink 182 and you know, a couple other bands and whatnot. But I'm backstage, and there's like a whole like, you know, like nice little air conditioned area and whatnot. Dude's just sitting there at the table, just sitting by himself. And so I'm like, fuck it, I'm not,
Yeah.
like Hamilton, I was not going to throw away my
Fool me
shot.
once, shame on me.
Yes, So I walk over to him. I was like, hey, man, I saw you, Philly, 93, da-da-da. I told him the story. And he looks up at me, puts his hand out. He's like, well, I'm glad I finally get to meet you. And I was like, fuck, that's fucking cool. That's cool as shit.
That's a good fucking line, dude.
Yeah, it is. I was like, fuck, man, that's awesome. So it was a really nice guy. I honestly don't remember his name, but
Jeff Fishbone.
Jeff Fishbone. There you go. It's not Jeff, but but yeah. So a lot of great ska bands. There's new bands. There's the old bands. It's just I just like it. I like the genre. I like the music. It makes me happy and makes me want to dance. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of ska on vinyl. Like I said, if I had the one Dance Hall Crashers album that introduced me to ska, that would have been in the place of this album on my 25 for sure. So, and like I said too, like one of the things I like, it's getting hard to see.
Paul's old.
Yes, I am old. Well, it's also kind of dark, and Oh, okay, yeah, I'm jumping around. Okay, so yeah. One of the things I like about ska in general, and this album is like, they definitely talk about social issues. They bring things on, especially at the time, which is very similar to like ska and punk do that. Like, Concrete Jungle. Which they took the title of that song from a Bob Marley song about
from that Jay-Z song, right? Concrete Jungle, Where Dreams Are Made Of.
What? Through the Dog, it makes reference to what was going on in Northern Ireland at that time. It was like in Belfast, because we're talking about the IRA, the UDA, and all this. You know what I mean? Too Much Too Young just takes like a social. I have a feeling you've done Too Much Too Young.
Probably.
Yeah,
like the whole in Too Much Too Young, saying like we could be having fun, but you're married with a son, or you're married,
or you're 14 years old with a baby.
Yeah. I think in the song they say 18, but I got that.
You got them beat. I
got that bitch beat.
I think they wrote that song for you. So, but all in all, man, it's a solid album. Like all around, it'll always hold literally a special place in my collection. Yeah. So, what are your general thoughts?
Like I said, I just really enjoy it. Like it was good. So I listened to it today. I had to do some traveling today. And I listened to it. So I had texted Paul the other day because I was trying to listen to the album on the way to work.
Yes, that is.
And on iTunes, on Apple Music, where I listened to basically everything that we've done so far, they had two versions of this album. They had the 2015 remastered edition, and they had the 2002 remastered edition. And the 2015 remastered edition was about 47,000 songs and about an hour and 45 minutes long.
Yes.
And I'm like, I remember holding this album like it's a single fucking album. There's no way that all this shit is on one fucking single album. So I texted Paul to send me a picture of the track list on the back, so I could figure out. So if you're listening on Apple Music, the version we listened to is the 2002 remastered version on Apple Music.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So I listened to that on part of my drive today. It's not a long album. It's only about half an hour.
Something like that. Yeah, I didn't actually.
35 minutes tops.
Like that.
So it's a quick album. It's a good listen. It's good just driving in the car music.
Yeah.
Especially like. I got a little bit. I fucking hate traffic. Well, it's
like Steve Winwood and Dave Mason.
Yeah, everybody else. I hate traffic. So I caught a little bit of traffic today, and so this was kind of like Paul said, like it's happy. It's just happiness embodied in music. So that got me through the little bit of traffic that I hit. But yeah, like all in all, it's just a good album.
Yeah.
like I said, I've never been the fuck ska person, but I've never been the.
Now I'm smoking. Yeah. See what you got me doing?
I've never been the hard. I've never been the rude boy, if you will.
Right.
So which
I think I wanted to be a rude boy.
Can you explain to me where what I'm like why rude? What is it? Rude is?
I don't know. They're just called rude boys, and they do the skanking.
Because something I thought of while I was listening to this album today, and Paul won't understand. I think you've said you've never seen this movie, so you won't get it. But listening to this album, I wanted to watch SLC Punk.
Okay.
At one point in SLC Punk, like they're talking about the punk scene in Salt Lake City. So there's the punk kids, but then there's also the mod kids.
Right.
So like this album just makes you wish you had a suit and a trench coat and a Vespa.
So I just Googled
origin of rude boy.
What is a rude boy, right? And so rude boy,
because Rihanna says it too.
The definition of rude boy is a lawless urban youth who likes ska or reggae music.
Okay.
Now, people who ask on that part of the Google says, what does rude boy mean in slang? A member of a group of lower or working class teenagers in the 1960s, noted for listening to ska music and for juvenile delinquency. They inspired the later rude boy fashion in Britain, also called Rudy with an IE, Rudy with a Y, and Rudy with an I. Word origin. Originally Jamaican slang from rude in the sense of coarse, vulgar, or uncouth.
Another thing that this also made me kind of want to watch again was This Is England.
Okay.
You ever see This Is England? It's been a very long time since I've watched it, but basically it follows basically this little kid. He's probably like, I want to say like preteen, like 11, 12 maybe, and he starts hanging out with like these he starts hanging out with like these skinhead kids, and not like skinhead.
I think Ella wants to come out.
Not skinhead in the neo-Nazi sense. Skinhead in the just like our brother Brian. Once Paul comes back, I'm gonna keep my beer up here so Paul can go back and cheers it. Our brother Brian was a skinhead. Brian was a member of Sharp, which was skinheads against racial prejudice. But it's just that style that cuff jeans and the Doc Martens and the fucking collared shirts and the suspenders and shit.
The Fred Perry
shirts. Yeah. Kid starts hanging out with in fact, there's a scene in the movie where for the kid's birthday, all of these older kids that he's hanging out with pitch in and buy him a Fred Perry shirt.
Oh, that's great.
For his birthday.
That's awesome.
So it made me want to watch SLC Punk, and it made me want to watch This Is England.
Okay, cool.
But all in all, enjoyed the album.
Nice. So this, the fuck, man? Oh, yeah, I gotta go to the other page for that. Okay, so
Do you want a light?
No, you. Yeah, okay, cool. So what was cool about this copy is this was actually, when I started collecting vinyl again, which was in the early 2000s, right? That's when I started collecting vinyl again, and I did not even have a turntable yet. I was one of those people who was buying records without a turntable, but I was buying records with the intention of getting a turntable. I know some people now will just buy a record to have a record. You know, they don't have a turntable, they have no way to play it, they just want to physically own the record, which is cool, man. If that's, it is a collection, a collectible thing. That's what you're into. Personally, I want to play the fucking records, but so this, when I started collecting vinyl again, this was actually, one of the first albums that I purchased.
Oh, okay.
And I got it at the legendary Princeton Record Exchange for $5.99. $5.99.
Princeton, New Jersey.
Princeton Record Exchange in Princeton, New Jersey. So, if you ever get a
Were
chance,
you just talking about? You were talking about the Princeton Record Exchange on the. Were you talking about the Princeton Record Exchange on the Smiths episode?
Yeah.
Because you were saying the guy from the B-52s.
Yeah.
I think would take like promos and shit down.
Yeah. So, I love the Princeton Record Exchange. If you ever get a chance,
there's still a thing.
Yeah, it's very much a thing. Yeah. If you ever get a chance, if you want to take like a destination trip to buy some records. Look at her kicking.
Yeah.
I can't tell if my daughter's waking up or not, or if she's just being rammy. Did you turn the volume down?
I didn't touch anything.
Yeah.
Um.
Time out. I mean, no, not one time out. No, that's up. Okay.
I think that could be something. That could be something interesting that that we could do for some non-podcast content for the page would be to go to the Princeton Record Exchange.
Yeah, man, that'd be pretty awesome. So
and not be like one time. There's I think it's based out of New Jersey. Is the punk rock flea market was at Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company the one time, and I had asked Paul to go, and something came up with both of us that we ended up not being able to do it. But I think that'd be pretty fucking cool. Let us know at home, you listening and viewing at home, if you want to maybe see some extra content of Paul and I fucking geeking out and buying records. I feel like now listening to this album, that like I feel like I'm part of the part. I feel like listening to this album now and like knowing the specials. I feel like I'm part of the cool kids now, because like I said, like guys that I knew when I was younger, were very much into the music. Always were fucking posting the Little Rude Boy and shit. I was just saying to the viewers at home that
I heard you.
You heard me.
Yeah, you can hear it all the way in the bedroom.
Do I talk that loudly?
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. Because I got yelled at because I wasn't talking loud enough for the first.
Yes, sure.
So yeah, I feel like I'm part of I'm part of like the cool kids now because I have a specials album under my belt.
That's good. It's good. All right, so favorite songs. Yeah.
Sorry, Ella's chasing a moth.
Yes. Ella decided to join us. I don't know if you saw her or not, but
favorite songs. I mentioned earlier a message to you, Rudy's probably at the top of my list.
Okay.
And I think I want to throw "It's Up to You" on there.
All right.
And then either I want to go parentheses dawning of a close parentheses new era, or Concrete Jungle.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Okay. It's a toss up between those two. Just to get a song from the B side, I'm gonna go Dawning of a New Era.
Okay. All right. Cool. So my three favorite songs on this album are "Do the Dog."
Okay.
Love that fucking song. "Nightclub" makes me want to dance. Whenever "Nightclub" comes on, it's like "Nightclub's the seeing place to be." So I love that song. And then my third would be "Dawning of a New Era" would be my third favorite song. One of the reasons I actually like "Dawning of the New Era" so much is because we talked about with Elvis Costello being the producer of this album, and how he has this very specific style and a very specific sound.
Excuse me.
That song has an Elvis Costello guitar riff throughout the whole thing. It starts off with it, and like right away, like especially after like finding out that like he produced the album, I was like, that's fucking Elvis's. That's his thumbprint on this album. Is that tone, that riff, that style? It's very it's very Elvis Costello. So that's one of the reasons I do. So least favorite song?
I don't. It's hard to point it at, to pick one. Maybe Too Hot.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like something when I was listening to it, like Too Hot, I was just like, okay.
Mm-hmm. It's too hot for you. You can't.
It's just too hot.
You can't handle it.
Yeah, I can't. I had to get out of the kitchen for that one.
Yes. Are you scared? Did you get a dog like Ella?
Yeah. But yeah, I think just by like we've said before, like the worst songs on good albums are still better than the best songs on shitty albums.
Yep.
I think just by default, one of them has to be the least, and I might throw Too Hot as my least favorite.
Mine would be "It's Up to You." That's my least favorite song.
Oh.
Just because it's just kind of like,
because "It's Up to You." When I was listening to it, it reminded me of like an emo song.
Okay. Right. No, I can see that. It's
another thing when I was listening to this. I can't remember. I wish I didn't take notes this time. And I really wish that I did because I can't remember what fucking song it was. But the entire time I was listening to one of the songs, I was like, it reminds me of, which I mean, same era, same country. Mm-hmm. It reminded me very much of The Clash.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
The Clash has, I feel like a lot of Clash stuff has a lot of, I feel like sometimes the Clash might fall into that punk ska that you were talking about. Like it has a lot of reggae type guitar to it. So I forget what song it was, and it's gonna bug me all night.
One song, I don't know what it's called, but it's like Rudy Can't Fail.
Yeah, Rudy Can't Fail.
Rudy Can't Fail. There you go. Yeah. That's the name of the song.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
The song that stuck out to me, the Clash song that stuck out to me that it gave me vibes of was Jimmy Jazz. I don't know if you're familiar with Jimmy Jazz.
I'd probably know it if I heard it. I'm really bad with.
I'm gonna let you know the secret. You're gonna become familiar with it at some point.
Oh, okay.
But but yeah, it gave me I definitely got Clash vibes from it.
Okay. Cool.
So I was a fan.
All right. Cool. All right. So one of the things we talked about in the last week's episode was because it's come up a few times about the songs that Regina likes albums Regina likes and doesn't like.
Things Regina likes.
Yes.
Little Mermaid, Little Shop of Horrors,
yes.
Tchaikovsky.
That is all true. That is all true. Beauty and the Beast. She's also
live action Beauty and the Beast.
Live action Beauty and the Beast. But no, very much. It was funny because when Adam got here today, I had Little Shop of Horrors playing like on the TV for her.
And I've said before, Little Shop of Horrors is probably my favorite musical of all time.
Yeah, I love it. I like all of my kids actually loved it.
Yeah, my oldest Liam fucking loves Little Shop of Horrors. I put it on HBO Max the one day, and he was like, "Can we watch the movie with the plant?"
Yeah,
and I'm like, "It's called Little Shop of Horrors," and now he asked for it by name. So,
but and she sits there and she's seen it a bunch of times, but man, she is fucking glued to that TV when Little Shop of Horrors on. I do not let the television babysit my child, just so you guys know. I do not have an iPod baby. I mean, number one, she's only 5 months old. Yeah. Number two, I just don't do that. But
the whole time she's sitting there vibing out to feed me, Paul's sitting there like bouncing her on his knee and like talking to her and playing with her and making her dance and everything. So he's not.
I just don't sit there.
Even though he probably would be a good babysitter, Rick Moranis was not babysitting Regina today.
So we have the Regina factor as to whether or not Regina likes the album. So since we're going into the Regina factor in this is now episode 8, right? So we're going to kind of backtrack. Yep, it is. We're going to backtrack a little bit. So I've set it up in 3 different categories because I mean she's a baby. She's 5 months old. She doesn't talk. Yeah. But she does have strong reactions to albums and music in general. The kid's musical, which I love. I love the fact she's musical. All of my kids have been musical. Some of them pursued it a little bit more than others, but all 3 of my previous kids all played different instruments or sang or this that.
I remember a French horn.
Yes, yeah, they all except for my oldest. Don't believe she played French horn, but definitely. Jack and Ethan played French horn. Jack was more trumpet as well. Ethan eventually went to college for vocals. She was a voice major, or he was a voice major. So it was pretty cool. And the fact that Regina loves music and loves songs and she will sing to them and she'll like talk to the screen when there's certain like music going on and whatnot. It's great. So she definitely has very strong reactions to music, but again, she can't talk. So we're basically I'm giving her 3 categories of like, dislike, or indifferent. So like would be she's laughing, she's listening to it, she's singing with it. Dislike is going to be that she's crying until I turn it off. And then indifferent could be, especially going back, I don't know that I actually played some of these albums for her, or just that she had no reaction to them. So that's the way we're going to set up the Regina factor for the 5-month-old who is now part of our podcast.
Yeah.
So
officially, she was on camera.
She was. So Bright Eyes, I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning. She was Indifferent.
Oh, hi, Ella.
Hey, what's up, girl? Willie Nelson, Stardust. She did like. She was singing to it. Nice. She chilled out to it. Say Anything, absolutely hate it.
Yep.
She disliked it. She literally, I told this story when we did that episode, how she was crying when we were listening to it until I turned it on and put Stardust on, and then
it was funny because like I thought Paul was just being an asshole because it was my album and it was an album that I assumed Paul wouldn't like, but continue.
Okay, so
I don't want to barely continue.
Smith's The Queen Is Dead. She liked. She especially with the she was definitely into it. Billy Joel Songs of the Attic, she was indifferent because honestly I don't remember if actually she got a chance to listen to it. The Wonder Years, The Upside, she did like. Mm-hmm. She liked it. She did not have a bad reaction. I definitely did not play Taking Back Sunday for her because I
you don't want to taint her.
I didn't want to taint her, so I'll say she was indifferent. Mm. And that brings us up to the specials. The specials. She dislikes the specials.
Yeah. And I thought Paul was just being an asshole with the Say Anything. Paul had the specials playing earlier, and she wasn't in a good mood. No. And he turned it off, and
her mood changed.
Her mood changed almost on a dime. So she's definitely responsive to it, and Paul definitely just wasn't being an asshole.
Yes, the Regina factor is real, and Adam got to witness it. Mm-hmm. So there you go. So now the Regina factor. Regina gives a thumbs down to this album. So. Yeah,
Regina grows up as one of those fuck ska people.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It looks like she is calming down. She wasn't even like when I got up because like I had the baby monitor next to the iPad which we're filming this on, and I see her like kicking around and stuff. She already like spun around in bed. She doesn't roll over yet, which is fine. I'm glad she doesn't yet because then it gets really crazy. But she was like spinning around, so like I ran out just to say like, okay, is she crying? And she wasn't. She was just kind of like cooing a little bit. So I think she finally settled down, and so she's good. So there you go. So there's the Regina factor on this. So it brings us to our next segment on the podcast, which is the Discogs value. So there are a lot of different pressings about this, which we did talk about. There's even different covers on the different things, and some of them have different song tracks, some of them different orders. Digitally, specifically, as Adam had mentioned, there's like a bunch of different ones that like some are like 2 hours long or whatnot, but this is not a 2 hour long song album. My copy there that Adam is holding in his hand is like I said, in the U.S. this was released in 1980, so which was a year after. I don't even know if it was a full year, but it was released after the 1979 release in the UK. What I have there is a pressing from 1980. It is a U.S. pressing.
Oh, nice.
So the etchings. So here's where it gets weird, right? So the etchings that on this particular one, when I looked it up in Discogs, is one of the variant etchings. So I don't know specifically which pressing plan it came from. So the listing where the etchings matched. Still got the Prince of Record Exchange sticker on it. Yes. So the etchings. When there's variants, like sometimes you'll get a listing that will actually list all the variants of the etchings and say this is, the year it came out. And that doesn't necessarily tell you the pressing plan. That's where this one kind of fell into the thing. So I'm going to say it's most likely a Terrehoot or a Pittman, just because, that's where a lot of the albums that I end up getting, especially, getting it from the Prince of Record Exchange. There's a good chance that it's one of those pressings. It's likely an early repress. I wouldn't say it's an original pressing. It's probably an early repress. It's possibly it's an original pressing, but I'm not going with that. I'm not going to be like, well, I have an original 1980 pressing. I can't verify. I could verify that I have a 1980 pressing.
Yeah.
Whether it's a very early reissue or original, I'd err on the side that it's a reissue, especially. Considering I only paid $6 for it in the early 2000s from the Prince and Record Exchange, and those guys are actually really, really good at like pinpointing it. So, with that in mind, doing our normal very good plus rating. I don't know that my copy would technically be very good plus. Might be like a very good, good plus to a very good. But again, as we said, we go by very good plus. My value is $18.26.
There you go.
We round up to $19. That would be the suggested retail. This one might actually sell for probably around there. So honestly, it looks like I had a pretty good investment on my my purchase.
You know, $13 profit.
Yeah, exactly. So that brings my running total to $170 to Adam's running total of $169. So right now, and yes, okay, so it's the round up factor, but we've rounded up every single record we've talked about. So because of the round up factor, I am, you know, a dollar ahead of you. If we rounded this one down, we'd be tied, but then we'd have to round down yours too. You know.
Yeah.
So the round up factor. So that's where we are. We are basically in a dead heat right now at 170 to 169.
It's neck and neck.
It is. It is neck and neck. 8 episodes in. So
the real question is, do you want to draw one of my albums from there that will put me back in the lead?
do I want to? No, but I know it could happen.
Yeah.
I am well aware that I could be very much losing the lead very quickly, or I could be adding to that lead.
It's true.
So Zach was supposed to pick last time.
True, Zach was supposed to pick.
But,
I think you picked.
I did pick. So much like Regina, who's fallen asleep during the podcast, Zach fell asleep, but for different reasons. So let's grab that box of Michael. Let me mix that shit up. The box of Michael looks great under the moonlight. You know what I mean? All right. So we're gonna mix these up and mix them up real good. We mix them up every week. You know, so that way it is what it is. Oh, yeah. There she goes. Regina is jumping back in. She is waking up, I believe. I might need to give her another bottle. That's okay. That is why I am drinking water.
Responsible.
All right, Adam, reach in, pull it out. He's mixing it up more. See, that's how dedicated we are to this.
I like to dig to the bottom.
Okay.
And I was like, I couldn't feel record sleeve. All I could feel was.
Ooh, there she is. Let's make this quick.
Let's see.
Oh, it's a yellow card, so I think it's one of yours.
Ooh, oh! It's another Booze and Vinyl.
Oh, another Booze and Vinyl.
We
Nice.
have the self-titled album by the band Vampire Weekend.
Ah, nice.
Which is going to be another Booze and Vinyl, which is awesome. Which actually really surprised me when we were filling these cards out, that Vampire Weekend was actually included in the Booze and Vinyl at all. So I'm super excited for that, because this is, I think you might get behind Vampire Weekend.
I've heard some Vampire Weekend. Some stuff on the radio. I have actually enjoyed it. I've enjoyed what I've heard. Never really got into them. We also have another possible special guest for this one as well.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So, but we'll see. So we'll reach out. We'll see what our schedule's going to be like as far as filming goes. And so we may have.
And again, sadly, we're recording on the Ottsville record balcony.
Yes.
So we don't have the booze, because I think when we had to pull the Smiths, we figured out what we were going to be drinking. Yeah. We don't have the album to put in front of you. I joked with Paul. I went down to grab something. He asked me to grab something from the garage. And I said, do you want me to grab all 50 of the records just so we have everything up here whenever whatever gets pulled? But just know that I have the album. It's downstairs. It's on vinyl.
Yes, we do have it. So that will be next week's episode. Episode 9 will be Vampire Weekend. You will take the lead again because I'm pretty sure that's worth more than $1.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Then again, I looked these things up, so I could always say, like, man, it's only worth $1.
Craziest thing, it was worth. Actually, you have to pay them.
Yes, exactly. If you want to sell this on Discogs, you actually have to pay Discogs just to sell it. Yeah. So, so I'm looking forward. I actually am truly looking forward to listening to that. So, my name's Paul. I'm the Country Hipster. This is my brother Adam, and it is time to. Mama!